everyone, we are from class 2 group 7. Today we have a presentation about prospect communication. My name is Sheila Miranda, person number 27 as a moderator, and here's our team. They are Daryl Helena Utomo, person number 34 as a speaker number 1, Shiva Mushafa, person number 16 as a speaker number 2, and the last one is Ikraya Muhammad, present number 25 as a speaker number 3. At first, here is our talking points about prospect communication. First, background of communication prospect. Second, the definition of semiotics. Third, finding common ground, work, indeterminacy, and latitudes of interpretation. And the last one is signification and habit change. I'm going to explain about background of communication prospect. The fact that communicative interaction needed cognitive and experiential basis, and that mere science would not be able to afford enough indicators and limit objects for communicative purposes. Common thought can be characterized as a mixture of neutral thought and interpreters determined by similarities. In other words, similarities are complex solid objects that partly unite the minds of the uterer and the superior interpreters as commission. The definition of semiotics. Semiotics is an investigation into how meaning is created and how meaning is communicated. Its origins lie in the academic study of how signs and symbols, visual and linguistic, create meaning. Semiotics, also called semiology, is the study of signs and sign-using behavior. It was defined by one of its founders, the Swiss linguist Ferdinand de Saussure, the study of the life of signs with society.
Next, Peirce categorized sign into three main types. He defined a sign as something which stands to somebody for something, and one of his major contributions to semiotics was the categorization of sign into three main types, such as first, an icon, which resembles its reference, such as a road sign for falling rocks. Second, an index, which is associated with its reference, as smoke is a sign of fire. Third, a symbol, which is related to its referent only by convention, as with words or traffic signals. 3. We have finding common ground. Based on Peirce's theory of interpretation, communication can be conceptually schematic in three significant kinds of results. The effectual interpretant, which constitutes the effectual interpretation, which is determining of the interpreter, and the communicational interpretant, the common mind or comment. 4. Intermediacy and latitudes of the interpretation. First, both speakers and interpreters must stand on the same foundation if they are to communicate. Second, there is a related calls for the correct delimitation of the communicative universe. Peirce identified the three major causes of uncertainty in communication. In addition, Peirce argued that not only interpersonal or social communication is uncertain, but also internal dialogue forming thought between the pace of self.
Signification and habit change. An object is an idea, a thing that finds a mark, a meaning it leaves behind. The matter is complicated by the fact that Peirce used meaning and meaning rather freely, often without defining terms, and he didn't provide an obvious technical alternative. In judgment, Peirce adopted Ray's concept of internal meaning and external meaning, suggesting that the first was roughly equal to the depth or kind of intrinsic meaning of an icon, while the last correspond to the breadth or kind of extrinsic meaning of an icon. Case study: Philosophy of communication in the social aspect. The role of female communication in the age of information technology and communication is vital and still very much needed to name people. The name is the fishing village where the biggest livelihood of people is fishing in the sea with less economy. It is still difficult to make ends meet. So the development of information technology and communication tools hasn't been entirely acceptable to name people, especially women. Case study: Philosophy of communication in cultural aspect. Communication in the process of the government with its socialization and development programs on Purwakarta government has been established. The Rebonyuda focused on the application and awareness of people to follow the rules of the government on Kabaya and Pangsi pants and an appeal not to remove the headband. The writer analyzes communication strategies implemented by Purwakarta district government are very effective.
The study philosophy of communication and political aspect. The process of political communication today with the presence of the internet is about the conventional way of the method of political communication. However, the substance of both political message and communicator or actor in political communication remain as important factor to use as in previous communication concept. Thus, the concept of political communication remain the same, only communication media currently use the internet, but online and social media. Practice of political communication during the new order can touch valuable listen. How a remain in power will always maintain its continue rules by means of imaging as if it were close to the people. Summary: communication played a double role in semiotics. On, on the one hand, basic semiotic components are about formal analysis of the typical communicative mark object and interpreter that fulfill vital summits. Paris argued that no human being called communication with another person unless they had in common made up of the general knowledge with the word familiar. Familiar is less referred to how well to the object is know that how to know.